welcome back. I thought I'd bring the GoPro out on a chain gang group ride in the evening. My favourite type of ride to do during the winter. It's the best way to kind of keep the speed and the fitness in the legs over winter, although obviously we're not in winter yet, but you know, this is when I'll normally do them, is over the colder months. If you don't know what a chain gang is, it's essentially a group ride on steroids. It's normally about an hour's route, 90 minutes, and then kind of a bunch of local guys will get together and just try and rip each other's legs off. And then the further you get into it, the more acceptable it is to attack each other. You can't really just take a flyer off the front. Like where we are at the moment, you'd get a few dodgy looks if you tried that. But we just had a nice 5-minute warm-up. It's about an hour ride for me to get up to Winchester to ride with these guys. And then yeah, we'll just kind of roll through. The guy ahead of me, Matt Downey, he's a bit of a machine. I don't think any of the other guys would disagree if I said that he's a level above all of our fitness, and that will become very obvious later on. But in these first few minutes, as normal, I get a little bit too overexcited and probably do a little bit too much work for how good I'm feeling. But yeah, here we're still rotating nicely. And then yeah, there we go. Like I said, Matt, he just likes to sit on the front and hurt everyone else, but yeah, very kindly lets me through there. And I don't know if you can tell on the camera, we go through a bit of a dip here, so I just wanted to keep the power on, keep the speed up, to kind of carry as much speed up this little, well, it's not really a climb, up this little rise as possible, and then flick through Alan on the very nice bright blue Venge behind me. But with both mine and Matt's surges there, the group isn't as tightly together, and it's kind of on me there to keep the rotation smooth and going there, as I was the one to surge through quite early. So I take an extra turn here, and I should peel off in a couple of seconds here and let Alan come back through, and then we kind of fall back into formation a little bit more. Now this route, I'd never done this route before. I've done all these roads at some point, so it's not completely blind, but I've never done this route as part of a chain gang, and it really helps to know the route quite well, because obviously you're all quite close together, going quite quickly. And then here, I'd never done this little road before, so I let Matt go off the front. He feels a lot more confident going around this corner, but you know, it's still pretty early on. We're still going to bring him back. Again, it's in your best interest as part of this group to make it go as quickly as possibly and as smooth as possible. So there's no point in me kind of sprinting over and snapping this gap closed. That's just going to hurt the people behind me and cause gaps in the group. So I pull it back. Pretty calmly, and yeah, we fall back into the rotation with Matt just behind me. But yeah, so on the right hand side of this route there, the eastern side, there is a bit of a climb in the middle of that. It drags up for ages and then kicks up right at the end. So I knew that was coming at some point. I didn't know exactly when, because I wasn't looking at my computer too much, but I kind of knew that was that's going to be the main point of this ride. And then coming through a town here, getting held up by a Passat. Lovely. Cheers, mate. And yeah, just keeping the rotation going. And this is the climb actually. So the finish is just up there, probably about 500 meters. I'm breathing out my bumhole at this point, just kind of staring at the wheel in front of me, trying to hold the wheel ahead of me. Ollie, bit of a godly turn going up the climb there. He'd been on the front for a good few minutes. He just falls straight back onto Matt's wheel, which I'm not going to argue with. I'll take that every day. And I think there might be one or two more people on my wheel here, so it might just be us three going over the top here. But as you see, Matt, he's probably doing 500-600 watts just sat in the wheel whilst we're all swinging about out the saddle. I think the top's just here, so I kind of get out of the saddle again, give a little bit of a surge, see if I can get over, but the top is like another 50 meters, and yeah, the lights just go out on my leg, so I swing it off, fully prepared to just sit up now and wait for the guys behind. But Ollie tells me to get on his wheel, and I'm not going to say no to that. And then this point, even though I know what Matt's like, I know that he's going to push on the descent, I just let the wheel go ahead of me because I'm not paying attention, and I've kind of got tunnel vision going so deep up that climb, and you can see how quickly this gap opens up, and somebody else even comes around me, and I can't even react to that. But I do eventually make it on, which shows that I obviously had the legs to just snap this closed. It's just a mental barrier that I didn't really want to push through the pain. But yeah, I do get back on with a lot of wasted energy there. At some point on the descent, I hit this kind of ridge in the road, and it felt a lot like a pinch flat, but I didn't have anything for a few minutes. Bit of foreshadowing there. I've put in a rotation, but Matt pretty much just sat on the front for the next like 5 minutes. And here's the kind of like return point, 180-degree turn. There's 5 of us in this group now, so the group's like halved in size to what it was like 10-20 minutes ago. And then I think in a couple of seconds here I'm going to look down and realise that my tyre's got about 20 psi in it. Yeah, there we go. Swing off. Sorry, Oscar. And I knew there's a B group behind us. I don't know how far behind us they are. I'm hoping more than a couple of minutes. So I do the fastest tube change that I can. Lucky I got CO2. And yeah, get back on the bike. And it wasn't until another like 5 minutes later that the B group came past, and I jumped back in. But there we go. Great banter. But in my haste to get my wheel back on, I've kind of put it in sideways a little bit, so the gears aren't changing. The gears are like in between the sprockets. So eventually I have to pull over after a climb and change that, and then do a bit of chasing on these guys. But even in the B group, this is kind of great fun. Rotating through, here we go. Pull over, just loosen it off, and I realised I've got a zip tie holding on my Di2 cable on my hanger, and that had kind of that had lifted up into my cassette, which was stopping it from tightening up properly. But I got my head down, got aero, caught them up on the descent. Didn't want to burn too many matches here, because I'm still going to sprint against these guys at the end. I thought it was a bad form attacking too early, but I kind of just rotate with them. And then this left-hander is the kind of the final slowing down before the home straight. I think it's about 2 kilometers to the finish, but I see this riser, this little tiny climb ahead of me, and I'm like, oh, I should go for a long one. Sitting in for the sprint in a chain gang is a bit boring, so kind of slowly my way up, and then squeeze out some watts on the outside. And at this point, I'm feeling amazing, on top of the world, peak Van der Poel. I can do anything, and then I sit down back in the saddle, and about 20 seconds later, I can't push out about 200 watts. So it's a nice snap back to reality after that, and they do bring me back, which doesn't put me in a great position for the sprint, because obviously I just used quite a lot of energy trying to get a gap. But now I'm kind of all in for the sprint here, and we've also caught somebody else from that front group as well. And then Alan sends a flyer on the outside here, catching us whilst we're looking at each other, and I'm hoping somebody else is going to jump across here so I can jump on their wheel, but nobody does. I'm not going to sit in and sprint for seconds, so decide to launch it myself, hoping that the finish is just at the top of this climb. There's a signpost somewhere. Hit just over 1100 watts there. I realise that I've gone way too early. The sign isn't for like another 200-300 meters on this rise here, so I didn't get a gap behind me. My best bet is just to sit up, still kind of recover a tiny bit in Alan's draft, and then again I've got to go a little bit too early because I don't want to get boxed in by the people rushing me from behind. So recover a little bit, sit up, hit it again, but as you'll see in a few seconds time, guys behind me had the rush, timed it a lot better than I did, and they get to the signpost, and that's all she wrote. A great evening out, the perfect kind of winter ride, even though it's summer at the moment. Looks like it's winter in this video.